We're doing this again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a video which I never thought I would ever actually need to do a preview for, but purely because of the situation that both clubs are in, the meaning of this game, the timing of this game, and really just the fact that most people that may not be in the world of Burnley or Blackburn or just Lancashire in general may have really no idea about this. So even if they do, they may have a very vague idea about this derby. You may have seen some great tweets, may I say, on Twitter from some fans of both sides. One in particular saying that this is a derby which has snipers in helicopters, which is completely true. I was there. Okay, maybe that's a lie. But there is definitely police presence with guns, which I don't know why they've got guns. I don't know what's going to happen that's so bad that it involves you to threaten someone with a gun, but you never know. I think this will be dropped on the Saturday night, I believe, or Sunday morning. Probably Saturday night. This is the Burnley versus Blackburn Rovers preview, or Burnley versus Bastards, or Dingles, or Bastards, whatever you want to call them, horse fiddlers. That's a thing that we also say. I was going to get a Blackburn fan on this, but I genuinely don't want to. As it currently stands between Burnley and Blackburn, Burnley are currently top of the Championship and Blackburn are second. By the time you see this, Sheffield United may have won their game. I believe they play Cardiff on Saturday and they may go top. Depends what happens in that game. First feet second. The winner of this game will go into the World Cup break on top of the table. That alone adds so much more to this derby. And if you want to go for the conversation of who's the bigger club of the two, historically, if you're speaking of the entire history, there's a lot of things. For example, the head-to-head, Burnley are actually leading, but only by one win. It is very tight between these two sides, even though they've played over 100 games against each other. It's still only one win ahead for Burnley. And then you can speak in terms of fan base, which Blackburn, of course, have got a bigger stadium, but it's rarely ever full, which looks embarrassing for them. But hey, they've been in League One in recent years, so I guess I can't really blame them for not selling out a 30,000 seater stadium, to be fair, so I'll give them that. And the reason why I'm doing this preview is that I've got to speak to someone. Okay, I'm nervous. And I've not been nervous for a Blackburn game in a long time, because we've just always been ahead of them. And even going into this game, I still feel like Blackburn, all in all, is not that good of a team. They won't be top two by the end of the year. I'll be honestly surprised if they are even still top six by the end of the year. I think their depth is really poor. They are still relying on a lot of young players, raw players who may have something about them, but personally, from what I've seen from them, they've got a decent manager with decent game management skills. That's the best thing I could possibly give to Blackburn, is that, annoyingly enough, I kind of like their manager. JDT, I don't know his full name, the Danish lad. From what I've seen from him, actually looks like he's quite likable, which is mildly frustrating, I'll be honest. And from what I've seen in the games that they've played, they may have only won by maybe one goal or so, and that when I've seen them, it seems like he's got some great management skills, game management skills, that he can set out a game and be quite work smart in terms of how his team sets about and gets results. And then they utilise their best player by a country mile in Diaz, which I swear, he changed his name like a couple of years ago, I think 3 years ago, something like that. And I swear he wasn't even good. He was just like another championship player. And then he changed his name to Diaz, to Chilean nationality. And then suddenly he's like a whole different player. I don't know how that worked, but fair play to the lad, because he's pretty decent. Got a slightly annoying face, but don't throw stones from glass houses, eh? And when I compare both sides, Burnley for me has got by far more quality and by far more depth, and especially options off the bench. The only thing is about Burnley is that we aren't the most physical side. And I go into this game and I worry, thinking at Blackburn, it is blatantly obvious where our weakness is. I feel like the game will go like this, that in my mind, I'm thinking that we're going to have a ton of the possession. We may have 68, 71% possession across the entire game, and that would be mainly us just basically peppering their defence. They're going to aim to drop deep and try to soak up the pressure and let our wingers, Anas Aruri, Manuel Benson, Nathan Teller, if he's starting, it could be any of those three, and that could be just us trying to work into their defence. And that's the same thing that Hull, like Cardiff, like Stoke, they've all done the same thing. We all drew 1-1, and all they did was just drop deep in their final third and try and hit us on a break. That is exactly how all those games have went, that we are still quite a young team, and that a team which we are still trying to work out exactly who's going to be where, in what situation, trying to work out kind of dynamic, little relationships with one another. It's not completely in the head of each player in terms of where everyone will be, and that can only take time. And we're getting there a bit more now. It feels like it's coming together a bit more, but it's not perfect, and I don't think it ever will be perfect. So that when it comes to a set piece, indirect free kick, or a corner, that is what I'm most fearful for. Because of our high line, because Burnley are now such a progressive, possession-based team, that we are going to be so high up the pitch, if we make one mistake with a pass, it immediately turns into a potential 3-on-2 situation, that we could be our fullbacks are basically acting like wingers. We're hitting the break, and then by then, it's just up to the gods that something will go in our favour. So in my mind, when I look at it, we have the better team. We're at home. We're in the better form. Blackburn typically aren't great away from home either. Their main results have really all been at home. Both managers are new to the league, so there's not even that kind of advantage either. In my mind, there's no way we lose this game. There's no way in my mind that we will lose this. But I am very, very convinced of the fact that this could very easily be a draw. Burnley have gone 8 to 9 years unbeaten in Derby, and it's been 12 years since Blackburn have beat Burnley. The last 4 games between Burnley and Blackburn has all been Burnley wins. This is also the first derby since, I want to say, 1980s that it isn't a bubble travel derby. And by that I mean, since I've always been born, Burnley and Blackburn, since when I go to Ewood Park, you've got to go by bubble travel in coaches. You can only make it to the ground of the away stadium in coaches, and you leave by coaches, and it's police escort across the M65. This is the first one, for whatever reason, that Blackburn fans can make their own way to Turf Moor in whatever way they see fit, and they can go anywhere they want. I personally think is a really bad idea. It's been many years since these two have both played against each other. It's also by far the most, I want to say, competitive derby that we've had for many years, because even when we played them back in 2014, we were kind of always ahead of them in the table. We were always around the top 2, and they were kind of always around like 9th or 10th or 11th. And this year, we're first, they're second. Whoever wins this game will be ahead of each other going into World Cup break, and you got an entire month of having the other team on top of you. If you ask me now, if I would get given a draw now, I would take a draw in a heartbeat, just so that we're ahead of them for the World Cup. I'd just do it for that reason alone, as I can't go a whole month with them ahead of us. So this is it. And again, I don't know why I'm doing this video. Mainly because I'm excited and I'm nervous at the same time, because there's so much on the line for this derby, and I really hope that the atmosphere is fierce. There is great banter, and I hope that there isn't anything that is too over the top. I do think this derby is one of the most underrated in England, because people may not see it that much, people may not see it that often, but when it does happen, something always kicks off. The last time I went to Ewood Park, I had bricks thrown at my coach window. I got proof of that on my YouTube. You can go and just look up online. I think we'll win this game, but I think it's going to be absolute hell. I think it's going to be a game where they're going to sit back all game. They're going to aim to hit us on set pieces and counters, and that we're going to be having a large chunk of possession and may struggle to actually break them down. If you 0-0 at half time, and in the second half, I think we'll get a goal by the 70th minute, in the 70s somewhere, and then we'll win 1-0. I think it'll be 1 goal in it. Should be more, but I think they're going to defend with all their life. I can see it being a 1-1, just because we always seem to concede a goal in that kind of manner. But I'm going to back the boys for a 1-0 win here. I hope you guys watch it. I hope you guys enjoy it. I will be there. Okay, I'm flying to England tomorrow, and I will be doing a vlog as well, because I know that you guys would enjoy that. Wait for it. I really can't. I can't see the atmosphere. The difference between this derby with Burnley and Blackburn compared to other bigger derbies, and I mean like the Uniteds and Liverpools, the top 6 derbies, is that the people who support the teams involved in these kind of derbies are from the area. They're representing the area. But if you don't support Burnley for the most part, unless if you're from Burnley. I'm born in Burnley. I'm raised in a village called Barrowford, 5-7 minute drive from Burnley. Okay, and you're not really a Blackburn fan unless if you're from Blackburn area or Darwin. Okay, it just is how it works. With that, I feel like it does become much more about your pride in your area and representing your area, and that it does feel like it's a lot more fierce in terms of who is really the pride of Lancashire. All fans that be at Turf Moor on Sunday, they will all know very well the meaning of this game. And they will all know very well what is on the line for this day. I feel like I shouldn't even take my camera to it, and I kind of don't want to, because I want to experience it without like a secondary thought. But I do know that people really are interested in derbies, and people are really interested in terms of the meaning of this game, in terms of the fact that it's not just Burnley Blackburn, but it's also first to beat second. There's so much on the line here for the course of the championship season. So I hope you guys do enjoy, and please just wish us luck on Sunday, because I'll be a mess. Okay, pints will be needed. Okay, when I wake up on Sunday morning, I'm gonna wake up with a Jaeger bomb. No Stone Island, I'm not that kind of guy, but I'll be wearing my colours, and I'll hopefully see you guys there. Up the fucking Clarets. Let's go.